What if the story of civilization is upside down? What if farming didn't create temples, but temples created farming? What if organised religion predates permanent settlement? What if humans were capable of monumental architecture 6,000 years before Stonehenge? By the end of this episode, you'll understand why Göbekli Tepe isn't just an archaeological site, it's a crack in the foundation of history itself. In southeast Turkey, there stood what locals believed was an ordinary mound. It looked unremarkable, just another hill. But in 1994, a German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating it, and what he uncovered changed archaeology forever. Beneath layers of soil were enormous circular enclosures made of massive limestone pillars. Some stood over 16 feet tall, some weighed up to 20 tons. They were arranged deliberately, two central pillars surrounded by a ring of others. This wasn't random stone stacking, this was design. And carbon dating placed it around 9,600 BCE, approximately 11,600 years ago. For context, the Great Pyramid of Giza is 2560 BCE, Stonehenge is 3000 BCE, and Mesopotamian cities are 3500 BCE. Göbekli Tepe predates them all by thousands of years. And here's the uncomfortable part. According to conventional history, humans at that time were still hunter-gatherers. The standard model of civilization is neat and linear. Hunter-gatherers turned to agriculture, to food surplus, to cities, to religion, to monumental architecture. In other words, you farm first, you build temples later. But Göbekli Tepe breaks that model. There is no clear evidence of large-scale agriculture at the site during its earliest phases. No domesticated wheat fields, no permanent housing structures typical of settled towns. Yet here stand monumental stone pillars requiring long-term planning, labour coordination, engineering knowledge, social hierarchy, shared symbolic meaning. So the order may not be food to faith, it may have been faith to food, and that flips everything. So let's get specific. The pillars are carved directly from limestone bedrock using stone tools. That means quarrying, shaping, transporting, erecting, without metal tools, without wheels, without draft animals. The pillars are T-shaped, likely stylized human figures. Some display carved arms and hands. Many feature detailed animal reliefs, foxes, snakes, vultures, boars, cranes, wild cattle. The carvings are not crude scratches, they are controlled, intentional, symbolic. This required skilled artisans, and not one or two, it required a system. To move a 20-ton pillar without modern machinery demands coordinated manpower, possibly hundreds of individuals working together. Hunter-gatherers are usually portrayed as small, loosely organised bands, but this level of construction implies seasonal aggregation of large groups. This implies leadership, planning, social complexity. And here's where it gets fascinating. Some archaeologists propose that ritual gathering may have been the reason agriculture developed. Because imagine this, groups gather annually for ceremonies. Feasting requires stable food supply. Stable supply requires cultivation. So farming may have emerged not purely for survival, but to support ritual life. In this interpretation, belief created community. Community required resources. Resources required farming. Religion didn't emerge from civilization. Civilization emerged from shared belief. That's a psychological revolution. Göbekli Tepe's carvings are dominated by animals. Predators, scavengers, serpents, birds of prey. There are very few depictions of humans. Why? Some interpretations suggest shamanistic ritual culture, totemic animal symbolism, death and afterlife cosmology, celestial and astronomical alignment. The vulture imagery is particularly interesting. In nearby Neolithic sites, vultures are associated with excarnation, leaving bodies exposed for birds before burial. Could Göbekli Tepe have been linked to mortuary ritual? Or is it something more abstract, a mythic worldview carved in stone? The truth is we don't know, and that uncertainty makes it powerful. Around 8000 BCE, the site was intentionally buried, not collapsed, not destroyed by invaders, carefully filled with soil and debris. This is one of the most puzzling aspects. Why would a civilization go through immense effort to build monumental architecture only to bury it? Was it ritual closure, cultural transition, environmental shift, symbolic ending of an era, or protection from enemies or climate? But the burial suggests something profound. This wasn't an abandoned accident, it was a decision. Now we enter controversial territory. Some suggest Göbekli Tepe is evidence of a lost Ice Age civilization, survivors of a forgotten advanced culture, knowledge passed down from pre-cataclysmic worlds. There are connections drawn from the Younger Dryas, a dramatic climate event around 12,900 years ago. Some speculate global catastrophes could have erased earlier societies as well. But here's the disciplined position. There is no evidence of advanced lost technology, no metal tools, no writing, no machinery, no Atlantean supercities. But what Göbekli Tepe shows is not advanced technology, it shows advanced organisation, and that's just as impressive. Whether there is advanced tech is yet to be determined, but we can clearly see the organisation involved. Göbekli Tepe appears just after the last ice age, during a period of major climate shifts. As glaciers retreated, ecosystems changed dramatically. Wild grains became more abundant, large game patterns shifted. It's possible that environmental pressure encouraged larger gatherings, shared ritual behaviour, collective identity formation. In unstable climates, shared meaning becomes survival glue. Maybe Göbekli Tepe wasn't built during abundance, maybe it was built during uncertainty, and meaning was the stabilizer. The real disruption of Göbekli Tepe isn't just chronological, it's psychological. We like to believe progress is linear, primitive, advanced, modern, superior, but Göbekli Tepe reminds us that our ancestors were not primitive in mind, they were symbolically sophisticated. They coordinated at scale, they built structures that lasted 11,000 years, without electricity, without steel, without mathematics as we define it. Maybe intelligence didn't evolve gradually, maybe it was always there. So the question is, was Göbekli Tepe a temple, a pilgrimage centre, a funerary complex, an astronomical observatory, a ritual gathering site, a symbolic map of their cosmology, or something beyond our current categories? We may be trying to fit ancient consciousness into modern boxes, and that may be the mistake. It proves this though, doesn't it? That human beings were capable of immense coordination, symbolism, and architectural ambition far earlier than we believed. Maybe civilization didn't begin with farming, maybe it began with meaning. And maybe the first thing humans ever truly built was not shelter, but belief. If you like this episode, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe and comment, and just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Strong Coffee Company, protein-packed coffee for energy and clarity. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com. And then there's More Labs, clinically proven hydration and recovery drinks. Use code Vancrux1 for 25% off at morelabs.com. And finally, liquor gummies, electrolytes and vitamins for hangover prevention. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at liquor.com. That's liquure.com.